When I lay eyes on you, felt this connection. And between me and you, I felt a little daze. Don't know what I should do. Should I go talk to him or stay here with my friend? My mind is arguing, my heart is jumping. I'm feeling so confused, like I was only two. All I had on my mind is that I wanted you. It's passion, there's a feeling inside that I can't describe when I'm next to you. When I look in your eyes, I can mesmerize what I'm gonna do. There's a time in my life when I tell you how I feel about you. If you're with me or not, you'll be in my heart, cause I love you. It's passion. I just gotta tell you that, cause I've been really holding back. I think it would be best for us if I tell you that I got a crush. Baby, don't run away. Baby, don't be afraid. Tell me if you were late. Baby, cause I got a crush.
Crush, Cupid got a hold of me. I don't know what's holding me back, but your beauty like crack. I recover, then I see you, I relapse. Even with them time lapses, I feel the same as if years was in a time capsule. Dreaming I had you, queen of my castle. Holding back every day till I'ma have to. MySpace, Facebook, email her my math. Tell her we better together, cause who better to have? Cause who better is halves? Cause this feeling I'm revealing was concealed, hidden and stashed like it's forbidden to have. I'm seeing that ribbon in the sky like Stevie did it last. Maybe I should tell her.
Baby, I got a crush. I just gotta tell you that, cause I've been really holding back. I think it would be best for us if I tell you that I got a crush. Baby, don't run away. Baby, don't be afraid. Tell me if you were late. Baby, cause I got a crush.
Strong ideology. It's completely represented in both parties, particularly in the Republican Party now, and it leads to war. It presses other countries to respond to the military aggression. You can't go build all kinds of missile bases around Russia and not expect a reaction, and you can't establish all kinds of new naval and air and land bases threatening China and without expecting a reaction. And so, what is the policy, though? Because the globalists that run this country, the corporations, this gaggle of special interests, they're busy offsourcing everything to China while trying to gear up for war with China. I mean, I guess they're just using them as a market factor to destroy their economic enemies here while also wanting to destroy them. I mean, I guess the New World Order model, the globalist model, is overturn every foundation, every building, every stone. They attack the family. They attack the Amish. They attack people selling lemonade. I mean, I guess it is just basically a crazed gorilla on PCP running around beating everybody's brains out.
Well, there are different factions. You see, the corporations are not the New World Order. They're just increasing their profits and managerial bonuses and shareholder returns.
So the New World Order is kind of like a conductor with a bunch of pirates out of control swarming under its wings.
Well, it may be trying to conduct them, but they're independent action. And the corporations and Wall Street are getting rich out of substituting cheap labor for expensive labor. And the wars are rewarding to the military security complex because they make billions and billions in profits. And the war on terror is rewarding to the police state aspects. We now have this Department of Homeland Security, which is creating its own army. And we have, the CIA loves this because its power goes way up.
So it is a lawlessness, a will to power that Nietzsche talked about by all the special interests, where they're in control of everything but themselves, running around in 800 different directions, just robbing and looting and stealing everything. That's about it. Yeah, you can see the lawlessness. I mean, look what Bush and Cheney did to law. I mean, they destroyed the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all of our legal protections. They violated U.S. statutory laws.
Well, wait a minute, sir. FEMA says the founders were bad, so isn't it good to get rid of due process?
Oh, don't start being silly.
Hey, I know I'm being silly, but that's actually what they're saying. So,
I think on the whole that the country has become lawless because that's what the government did. And when you have lawlessness, you end up with the power in the executive. And that's what the Republican society that wanted the unitary executive, the power in the executive. And so that's what we're getting. And the president is being transformed into Caesar. And he's not accountable. Look what Bush did. He violated U.S. law against torture. He violated the FISA Act against spying on Americans without warrants. He violated the due process requirement of the Constitution, habeas corpus, and he was not held accountable for any of this. And he went to war based on fabrications and lies. He knew he was lying, and this is a crime. And they've committed war crimes, and these are crimes under the Geneva Conventions, to which we are the main creator of. And there was no accountability. And so Obama comes in, and what did he do? He didn't hold them accountable either. He said, I like all these powers. we'll make them legal.
And Republicans identify with the Republicans and get a power trip. The Democrats identify with the Democrats, get a power trip. In summation, Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, how does it end then? I mean, I guess nuclear war or the glorious rule of the neocons?
Well, I don't think the United States would be able to prevail over Russia and China.
And good evening. I'm Dan Harris at ABC News headquarters in New York. We continue to cover this election, and it is a big night and one that is getting tougher and tighter for Mitt Romney to get to that magic number of 270 electoral votes. Let's take a look at the map. There's the magic number at the top of the screen. Obama at 157, Romney at 153. It appears tight, but Amy Walter, ABC News political director, explain to us why this map is not as congenial for Mitt Romney as it might look.
The two states there that have been called that the Mitt Romney campaign was hoping they could take into their map category. Pennsylvania was one of them. Michigan, Minnesota. Those were three states that they said, maybe we can steal one of these away. It now comes down to the state of Ohio. That is where Mitt Romney's fortunes lie in terms of his ability to hit that 270 mark. The fact that New Hampshire also went for Barack Obama, it's only 4 electoral votes, but I think emotionally, psychologically, that is a tough place to lose for Mitt Romney.
Yeah, let's just talk about New Hampshire for a second. This is a state, as has been noted, is right next door to the state where Mitt Romney was governor. It's a state where Mitt Romney has a summer home. It is a state where he started his campaign and where he ended his campaign with a major rally last night. To lose there, I would imagine, at the Boston headquarters tonight was a bit of a punch in the gut.
It has to be a feeling that was one state where they did feel like it was closing at the end. Again, not many electoral votes, but it could be enough if this race was so tight to be able to tip them over into the 270 mark. Right now, the firewall that the Obama campaign has put up with Pennsylvania, with Michigan, with Minnesota, holding. Now they have to see if they can hold on to Wisconsin, Ohio, and Iowa. Those are the states to watch now.
So let's just go over that list very quickly. The big states to watch: Ohio, Wisconsin, Iowa. All right. We will be continuing to cover this here on ABC News. We're back after a quick break with much more election coverage. I'm Dan Harris. We'll see you soon.
This is a state that's very divided. In fact, even closer now than ever.
There's this big stereotype that Vermont is very, very blue about everything, but there are some definite geographic conservative areas.
Boston is a very strong blue area. As you get out into the outskirts of Massachusetts, it does become slightly more red.
Wyoming's traditionally a red state, and where I'm from in Wyoming, in Teton County, oftentimes is the only Democratic portion of the state.
You get out of New York City, it changes a little bit. When you get further out east towards Sussex County, it turns quite red, and they become a little bit more conservative in their view.
I think it's a little disappointing that it kind of can come down to, say, one state for the entire country. Yeah, I think that is a little bit of a bummer, and perhaps something could be changed there.
Good evening, everybody. It's 10 o'clock on the East Coast, and you are joining us on a super interesting election evening. We've got a few more cases we can make some projections in, and they are Utah, where the projected, well, Montana, let's start there. The projected winner in Montana, Mitt Romney. Not a surprise, this is a deep red state. And in Utah, another red state. Mitt Romney, the projected winner there. We've got one Senate race that we can also make a projection on in Utah. That's Orrin Hatch, who's the senator from Utah, the incumbent senator from Utah. And
sorry, I was reading your card. No, I thought it was saying something
what
else.
Happens when you bring it over my shoulder.
I know, I should not do that.
So, but let's just, oh, no, this is a big one. This is a projection we can make in the state of Massachusetts. I would say this is probably the most closely watched Senate race in America, perhaps the most expensive as well. It's Elizabeth Warren, who we're projecting as the winner. She's a Harvard law professor. She beat the incumbent, Scott Brown, who really shocked the political world when he was elected in 2010 in a special election. There he is. He was elected in a special election to take over the seat vacated by Ted Kennedy after he died. He shocked the world once, and now he has been beaten by a Harvard law professor. Jeff Greenfield, I know you've been watching this race particularly closely.
This, I think, this speaks volumes. This one little part. Scott Brown won union households in Massachusetts in 2010. Very independent guy. He's a very appealing candidate. Drove a pickup truck as his symbol. Ran against a rather middling candidate. Elizabeth Warren, according to the exit polls, is winning union households 61-39. And one of the things I think that suggests is that her economic message, which was, break up the big banks, very much a kind of populist, too big to fail banks or too big to exist, had resonance. And that notion that she beat an incumbent who had, by the way, pretty good approval ratings. For an incumbent to have well over 50% approval is usually a sign that you're going to win.
Let me break in because we actually have another interesting Senate race that we can make a projection on. It's in Indiana. This is another one of these very, very closely watched races. This is Joe Donnelly, the Democrat who ABC News is projecting as the winner in the race in Indiana. Now, he was up against a Republican who made news in a not so positive way. His name is Richard Murdoch, and he said during the course of a debate that when a woman gets pregnant after having been raped, that is what God intended. Jeff, you and I discussed this race earlier. Your argument was that the Republicans had a shot at taking back the Senate, but the reason they weren't going to take it back is because they were nominating people like this.
Here's Exhibit A. 36-year veteran of the Senate, Richard Lugar, who spent his life working on nuclear proliferation and to some extent lost touch back home. And he was getting on in these. Murdoch was the Tea Party favorite who beat him and was going to have, people thought he might have some